magical ones, welcome to the Fairy Stitch vlog. I'm Fairy, and this is the fourth time I've recorded this video, and technology has just not been on my side this week when it comes to doing videos. I don't get it. But anyway, welcome, and hopefully I won't have any more hang-ups on this stuff, and we can actually get this posted. So I'm Fairy, and I welcome you, and whether you're a subscriber or you're not, hopefully you will be by the end of this video. Welcome to part 2 of I'm trying to remember the episode name, but something about mid-fairy month. The first part was the garden, second part is the art. So you are seeing the art in the projects today. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you'll enjoy this. And so there's a lot to cover. I'll try to be as brief as I can, but I thank you for spending time with me, and hopefully you'll enjoy the episode. So again, we're in the middle of May, we're in the middle of May, and it's official fairy month. So today I'm going to talk about some of my fairy stuff. A few things, anyway. First of all, why don't we just get started? This is one of my big reveals. This is the fairy doll that I've been working on since early March. Finally finished. So I present to you Ragamuffin. Finally finished. Ragamuffin, just to give the overview, is 14 inches from head to foot. He's about 8 inches from arm to arm. He is completely hand knit from my own pattern. And yes, he is a fairy doll, but he doesn't have wings. Not all fairies have wings, by the way. So he does not. But he is, hand stuffed with fiberfill and stitched together piece by piece. Excuse me. And you might be looking at it going, something's not quite right. Well, you'd be right, but that's the design. He's meant to look weird. He's meant to look strange. And the idea was he's a clowny hobo fairy. There you go. That's something you don't hear too often, right? I wouldn't think Fairyland would have those, but guess what? You do now. So I wanted him to look different. I wanted to go with a different kind of look. So again, the leggings, they don't match. One's pulled up, one's dropping. The little booties don't match completely, although they do match the yarns I used, but they don't match each other. Even the design, the look of them came out differently. That was the idea. He's got his little tunic. He's got like the seams are, purposely not attached. He's got little holes that I purposely put into the tunic. He's also got little mud spots that I knitted and attached to the tunic, the sweater. He's carrying his little stick, which is actually a stick, but I wound brown yarn around it. Then I knitted him the little bag, kind of like the hobos in the Hollywood movies would have. You just like a big kerchief or a part of a sheet or a blanket, and they would tie it up to a stick and carry their belongings. Again, that was the idea. And then he does have a little pink mouth. It's really light yarn, but it is there. There's buttons for eyes that don't match, although they kind of go with the coloring, but they don't match each other. Yeah. He's got this weird little spiral hat. His hair is the brown yarn, but he's also got raffia, which is supposed to look like hay, got mixed in, because, when you're traveling and you sleep in a bale of hay, you're going to end up with hay in your hair. That kind of thing. So, yeah, so this is the back. Let me show you the back of him. This is the front of him. So he's meant to look odd. He's meant to look like He's a traveler. He's on the road all the time. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have possessions. Doesn't have anybody to go to. So he's mismatched, and that's the way I wanted him to look. So as far as I finally got it done, it's like yay! So he's made with 5 different yarns. Yeah, 5 different yarns. The brown is just yarn worsted brown colorway. The tunic is actually 2 different yarns put together. And one of them was, I think, the sugar wheel or yarn bee wheel. The colorway was from the garden. And then the other one was the yarn bee sugar wheel, but I don't have didn't have the skein band. So I don't know what the colorway was on that, but that was mostly this navy blue, and then it blended in a little bit with the orange and the green. Whereas from the garden had like this yellow, green, brown, and then the aqua blues blending. So yeah, so it turned out cute. I I think he's cute. Like I say, you could pose him. He's flexible. He's soft. You can put him in a doll stand. You could sit him up. So he's looking for a home. So yes, anybody wishes to adopt him, you can let me know. I do publicize him on the Facebook page and all that. So please check out those links. But Ragamuffin is finally finished. So yes. So I had one project done. One other one I did, which I didn't bring in with me, I'll have to show it another time, is I did my first cartoon. It ended up being a political cartoon, and that's not something I've ever done before, but I felt that considering times, there's a few things I might have comments about. And I thought, I'm an artist, I'm going to say it the only way I can. But I didn't bring it in, so I can't show it to you right now. But it was one of the issues I've got. And I do have another idea for another one that I'm hoping I will be able to get working on soon. But I've got other stuff going on I'd rather focus on. So, one thing at a time. The other thing I did finish was I finally finished reading Louisa Morgan's book, Secret History of Witches, which I've shown a couple times already in past vlogs. I was still reading it. Finally got it done, so yay! Let me just say, just a really quick review, which hopefully won't give any spoilers away, is that I just felt that the book was a little bit too long, and even though she talked about magic and crystals and working on with the land and spells, I really liked that, and she carried that out throughout the story. It wasn't just a quick mention here and there. She did talk about it, and I liked that. I thought that was good. My main issue was because the way and I understand why she did it, but the way she wrote the novel is that you're going through a lineage of female witches within one family. And so she would spend maybe a really brief time on like 2 or 3 of the characters that you're first introduced to, but then that's it. She moves on to the next generation, and she just kept doing that and kept doing that and kept doing that. And so I before I even got to the halfway point in the book, it was kind of like, I just want to get it done, because I didn't feel that I could really connect to a character, because by then you're already seeing the writing on the wall. So it's like, I don't want to get attached to this character, and then it's you never see it again, never see the person again. And it's like, so why would I, so by then at that point, because it's what I was seeing as far as the pattern, I really didn't care what happened to the characters, because you didn't get a chance to really, connect to one of them and to really, get that caring connection and want to see what happens, or worry about them, or this kind of thing. And even though she talked about familiars, which was cool. I like that. Except I always worry, just like when I watch a movie, when they have an animal in the movie. And it really ticks me off. It really ruins a book. It ruins a movie when the author or the director or the writer or whatever, they give you an animal in the story and the animal's important. Even if it's just mentioned, it bothers me. But when the animal is kind of important and they kill it off, it really upsets me. It really ticks me off and it ruins it for me. I just hate it. I don't want to read the book again. I don't want to watch the movie. It just makes me upset. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. So it's like, if you're going to do that, don't even put them in the book. Don't even put them in the movie. If you're going to kill a poor thing off right away, I don't want to know about it. Don't even put it in there. So she did that with one of the familiars. And at least she didn't spend a lot of time on it. So you didn't get a chance to really start crying over it. But at the same time, I didn't like it. So that was another thing. But like I said, the main thing was I just couldn't connect to the characters because you weren't being given the time. You weren't given the chance. Just as soon as you started to maybe get interested and worry and think about that character, it was no longer talked about. She moved on to the next one. And it's like, So that bothered me. So I'm not saying it was a terrible book, because it wasn't. Is it going to be my favorite book of all time? No. But you read it and you decide for yourself. That's just my thought, my opinion on what I read. But at least I finished reading it. I got through it. That's the main thing. I got through it. So, okay, so those are a couple of things I got finished. Now, next thing I'm doing is I've started a sketch. It's on canvas paper. So it's going to be a painting, but the background is going to be fabric, like I often do. I cut up fabric and then you glue a piece of it on at a time, and you create this new background with this idea. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be another Alice in Wonderland. Now, I was going to show it to you, but I've got it taped to my board and I'm afraid to mess with it. But what I can show you is the background. So, let me grab that. Hey, Cha-Cha. Charcoal's in here with me. She's not on camera, but she's right here. So this is the fabric, and it's a bed sheet that was given to me. They didn't want it, and it's in really great shape. So I've cut up a piece, and all of this is going to be cut into little pieces. But what I'm doing is, because it's got this pretty lavender and light blue flower print, and I'm sorry, it is a little bit faded because of the light from the window, but most of it is white with this blue painted on. And then what I've done is I've drawn little cakes on little saucer plates, little teapots, and little teacups. And I'm just going to embroider. I'm going to embroider these little guys. And then after I get all of it done, or as much of it as I'm going to need, then I will cut sections out and then glue it onto the background of the painting. And again, it's going to be Alice in Wonderland. So it's going to be a Big Eyes. I've never done a Big Eyes figure painting. So my first Big Eyes. And it's going to be Alice in Wonderland. And she's going to hold her little kitty Dinah from the cartoon. So it's more of the cartoon inspired piece this time. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm kind of just doing a little section at a time to see how much fabric I'm going to need, because there really isn't a lot. It's only a 16 by 20 inch, so it's not a big piece. And so that's what I'm going to do. So this is on my embroidery frame, and I'm going to get started with that pretty soon. Should have already started it, but I didn't. So that is going to be the next piece. Then the other thing I'm working on is, of course, the Faystone Garden project. Now, again, if you're seeing my other videos, you're seeing me out there, especially part 1 of this video. I spent all out there in the fairy garden showing you some of the new things we put out and some of the areas that I still need to clear of weeds and that sort of thing. So this morning, before the weather really turned, it's been really windy again all day today. But I forced myself, even though I got a neck injury, I forced myself to get out there this morning, and I pulled this whole big weed section out. So I may have the photo on the phone. Let me see if I can find it for you, if it would show up here. Hopefully it will. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully. I'm sorry, it may be really faded or rough, but anyway, the weeds they're here. Whoops, right here. This whole clump of brown is loose weed. And then over here, is it on there? Sort of. I gotta see. Yeah, okay. So then I've got some plastic and I've got some stuff here I need to clear out. But this is a donation. And let me come up closer. This is a donation of a whole bunch of big garden stones. And I'm just thrilled because that will that's going to create the next section of the garden project that I want to work on. So I'm really happy because now I can proceed with the next area. And so I had to get those weeds out of there. Now it still needs to be raked a bit, but it just got too windy. I couldn't finish it this morning. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow it might be better, or maybe I'll be better. And I got to rake all that out, and then I can start moving those heavy stones into position. Thankfully, I'm not moving them too far, but still, they are heavy, so it's going to be a challenge. But I need to move them into the configuration that I want to do, and then put some plants in it. So you will see that update. Hopefully, maybe by the next week, I will have it done. So maybe I can do another vlog video by then. I don't know. But that is the next project is I'm making a rockery. And so that's going to be where all those stones are going to go into. So, yeah. So I'm excited to get that done because it's another section of the design. And I've had to revise the design at least 3 times already. So as things don't work out, or as I find stuff, or it's like, you know what, this would be better here, or in this case, because of where Tim, and I thank our supporter Tim for giving me the stones, he used his tractor and he lowered them over the fence and dropped them. And they're heavier than I thought, even though they're not huge, thankfully, but they're still heavy. I really can't lift them. I'm going to have to try to roll them and put them on the black paper. Maybe I can drag them over. So I can't put them where I originally planned, which was actually more in the middle of the whole garden. It's just too far away. I can't maneuver them. And the wheelbarrow, I can't lift them in the wheelbarrow. I can't do it. So they're going to have to stay closer to where they are sitting at the moment. So yeah, but I have them. It's fantastic. So now I can start working on that section. So that's something else that's in the works. But at least I have stones. So yay, I can do it. So I thank Tim very much. Thank you, for donating all those little stones. And like I say, we're going to make that rockery out of them. Okay, so the other things I got done and plan on doing, there's not a lot. I was painting they're all outside now, but I had a bunch of that little fairy village, which I moved from our front yard to the back So now it's in the garden project. And I believe I showed pictures of that in the first part of this video. So check that out. But a lot of the little villages and the little fairy statues, they've been out there for a long time. They've lost their color. The sun and the weather have worn it off. So I'm slowly repainting some of the ones that really need it right now. So I did probably about 10 of them, 10 little buildings and little statues. Repainted them, sprayed them with the spray, which will hopefully preserve them for a while. And then I put them out in the garden. So that was something else I did within a couple of days. I got those done. And then the other thing I can show you is the finished artwork. So let me grab that. Okay, so this one I did show you guys. Actually, I did a video all about the making of this one. So I think I called it Fairy / Faye Ice Art Studio or Art Project or something like that. So please check that one out if you're interested in actually seeing me work on it. But this is finally the finished piece. So here it is. Oops, here we are. So this is the finished artwork. It's called Solitude of the Cave. And I'm trying to be loud enough. I don't have a microphone, I'm sorry. But it's a 20 by 30 inch foam board. And then I used decorative papers along the side. Then I painted everything. I've used charcoal on the figure to give it kind of that ghostly look. Then I knitted this little section of yarn. I knitted it on purpose and made a little blanket kind of thing, and then I used actual sticks from the garden. So it looks like she's got knitting needle wands, to do her knitting. And I think that was all I could put on there as far as extra texture. Everything else is painted. But this is the final piece. This is the finished artwork. So, I'll put it out here. Yeah. So I've got like a magical lair, and she's in the midst of all these, broken stones. It's like a little fortress kind of thing. She's got her yarn. She's got a basket of carrots. Shows she's working with nature. She's got a book. She's got cups and bowls. Got her hat and her broom. Got candles throughout. So, yeah. So this is the final piece, and it's finally done. I was happy to get it done. So I wanted to show that to you. So that is the latest artwork that is finished. Now I'm probably forgetting something. Let me see. Let me check. Oh yes. Okay. One more thing. I really don't have anything finished because I'm still working on it. But the other is Shamrock, and I can show you the drawing. Okay, so this one I did talk about before. So this is my really rough thumbnail sketch for this fairy doll. And I started him in early March, just around the same time as Ragamuffin. Still haven't got him done, but I did get the torso knitted and stuffed. And I did do the 2 legs. I have to attach the legs, and I've got to cinch in the neck and these parts, and then those will be done. So then I can start knitting the arms and putting in the wings and the details. So this one obviously is named Shamrock, so it is going to be an Irish fairy, and probably going to be a little boy. I don't plan on making a little girl. I think it's going to be a little boy. And so I'm going to, continue to work on him. So hopefully he'll be done by the next vlog. Hopefully. But at least I'm making slow progress on him. But it's all going to be these couple of different greens, and then you got the off-white skin tone, and the wings I might try to do maybe a sparkle. I am going to try to make this one a little bit fancier, being that it's an Irish fairy, and definitely magic is strong for Irish fairies. So I want to definitely put in, sparkle and magical elements and things. So I am going to try to accessorize him a little bit more than the other ones. But we'll see. It depends on what I get, what I have, and what I can make. But at least I'm working on him. So that's the other project. Excuse me. Alrighty, so those are all the projects that's been done, things I'm working on, and like I say, I've just been really busy, and I'm trying to get the garden stuff finished, or at least progressing. The garden will never be finished, but it's something that I definitely want to make some progress on to keep showing updates. So again, I do have an art page on Facebook.com called Faye Ice Art. And like I said before, I do paint and do artwork under 2 different names. I do it under my real name, and I also do it under Faye Ice. So, but it is still me. It's just, some of the artwork I feel is more on kind of one side of my personality, and the other artwork kind of falls on the other side of my personality. So I sign some of it one way and some of it the other name. That's just the way I do it. It's kind of like a writer having a pseudonym, so same kind of thing. But anyway, Faye Ice Art, FAEISE Art, and it's on Facebook. I'll try to link it if I can. I think I've linked it on the other ones, but if I haven't, I'll put it on this one if I can. Also, too, if you're interested in seeing my Faye Stone Garden page, which is all about the garden and the updates and the projects and all of that, please check that out. Become a follower of it. Doesn't cost you anything. And that way you can see the updates quicker. If you don't want to sit through the video or can't right away, you can check that out. So please do that. I'll link that as well on here. So you can just click it on and go right through to Facebook. And you can see. So again, if you would like to donate to us, we do have a PayPal, which is listed in blue under the channel name here. If you'd like to do that and help us out, which pays for the electric bill so I can run the power tools, the few that I have, that pays the water bill, which definitely waters all the plants. It gives the kitties, the kitties out there water. And us too, we gotta stay alive too. If you'd like to donate, gift cards to a store that I can buy supplies, that's great. I appreciate it. If you just rather send to PayPal, that works too. I have gotten some in the past, and I thank Eleanor for that. Thank you so much. Helped us pay those bills a couple times. Also buys cat food, it buys bird food, it, pays for the water, it helps me buy tools that I can get occasionally. I mean, the money goes to essentials, that goes to working towards the projects that you see. So, again, that's where it goes. That's where my donations go, is to keep us alive, pay those bills, buy supplies, and keep kitties and the birds alive and well. So, it's definitely a help. So if you'd like to, please let me know. You can go through PayPal. Just add a little note on there. It says it's a donation, just so I know for sure. And again, thank you so much. So I thank Eleanor. I thank Cindy once again, our supporters, and I thank Tim once again for all those stones. That's going to be great. So next time I have, hopefully, the rockery finish to show you. That's the goal. So I'll be excited to do that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a fairy day. We'll see you in the next one, I hope. And take care. Take care during this fairy month. Get out there and enjoy the nature with fairies. Have a picnic. Give them an offering. Visit a park. Visit an arboretum. Go to a shelter and help an animal. Go to a zoo or something while they're still here, while we're still able to do these things. Go and enjoy and offer support in any way you can. So remember, this is official fairy month. So this is the month to connect to them and enjoy them, and get out there and make your gardens, get those planters going, get the flower pots going, and have a good time. So thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Have a very good day. Bye for now.